Happy weekend, everyone. The playoffs begin today. Drum rolls. I'm being crazy. Yeah, so the playoffs begin today. We have the playing tournament is done. So OKC went home, the Chicago Bulls went home, and today we have 4 games to begin the playoffs. 4 game ones, and let me know what your predictions are for the Nets versus 76ers game, the Hawks versus the Celtics game. I think the next game, I can't remember, but I know there's the Golden State Sacramento game, and then the Cleveland versus Knicks game. So let me know what your predictions are. Everybody would be hoping for their team to win, except maybe the Hawks. I think the Hawks may not be so hyped, and the Nets. The other games I think are a little bit more balanced. But yeah, I'm here. If they are upsets, well, I would love it. I love a good upset story. So and then for the playing, it's just a couple of takeaways from the games last night. OKC, they didn't. OKC, they did not shoot well last night. SGA, Giddy, and not because they were absent. I think they actually took shots. Like they were present. Their shots were just not falling in. Their shots were just not falling in. But for me, they had a very good season. I don't think a lot of people could have predicted they would have the kind of season they had, especially after Chet had the injury during the summer last year. So they had a very good season. No one expected them to have this good a season. I think they improved by like 20 games or more wins from the previous season. So yeah, I think their ceiling is high if things go very well for them. This OKC team, this current team reminds me of the team that had Serge Ibaka, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant. That it reminds me of that team. Very young players who had good ceilings. I mean, 3 of them became MVPs at some point in time in their careers. Between the 3 of them, I think they have like 7 scoring titles. KD has 4. James Harden has 3 or 4 himself. We look at Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple Double, who has the record for the most triple doubles here. He finished about 4 seasons, I think, with averaging a triple double. So they had a very good young team. I wonder what would have happened if they were able to keep every one of them, right? I wonder what would have happened if James Harden had blossomed into the very dangerous player he was in Houston when he was still in OKC. So I do hope they keep their pieces together and they don't trade them off, really. I think they have about 15 first picks in like the next 5 years, so they could get really talented players. And I know it takes beyond talent to have a very good team. There's the grind, there's the hard work, there's the will to dominate. There's all of these things, right? So the talent would be there. I just hope they will be able to make it work and become a very good team. I hope when Chet comes back, I hope things go well and SGA just improves on this previous season, right? So yeah, they shouldn't put their heads down. Really, I think they did very well. They performed beyond expectations, and if anything, they should use this as just a stepping stone to become a better team. That's my own takeaway. They did not shoot very well last night. They were playing against a team that, in my opinion, is better than them, has more experience than they do, right? So yeah, and then going to the Timberwolves, right? I did not watch the entire game. I think I watched through the first 3 quarters, but I didn't watch the fourth quarter at all. Through the first quarter, it seemed like a balanced game. I think Minnesota ended that quarter leading, but it was a single digit point lead. Like, so it was a balanced game. I mean, OKC even came out shooting 4-4, which is a small sample size, but then they started shooting poorly as the game went on. So takeaways from the Timberwolves. Cats has a good ceiling as well. I mean, so that's what separates very good players from players who are not so good. It's not because there's a huge talent gap, in my opinion. It's because there's a huge gap in being consistent, right, as a very good player. So anyone can come up. I mean, Horford had a 30-point game during the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks, and since then, how many 30-point games have he had? Has he had? So yeah, like that's where the gap really is, like being consistent, right? So you could have the talent, but being consistent. So Katz was very aggressive, was very good. He shot very well. He was good on defense, good on offense, and he really leveraged on his size against the OKC, right? So Rudy Gobert as well leveraged on his size to a good degree. I think he was fairly good on. I think he could have gotten a couple more rebounds, but he kept, I don't know, kept doing something funny, right? I don't know what to call it. So Anthony Edwards played very well as well. I mean, it was a good bounce back game from the previous game against the Lakers. He played very well, and yeah, the entire team, I think they shot very well. I think they shot over 50% from the field. So I'm not going to say that they are going to upset the Nuggets, but they could stretch them a little bit if they are locked in. If they are locked in, they could stretch them a little bit because they have the talents, they have the skill, they have the defense, they have the offense. I mean, they have a three-time defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert, right? So Anthony Edwards tries his best at defense. Same thing with Kat. So if they could be locked in, I think they could stretch the Nuggets, at least take a game or two, right? Not being swept, right? So that's what I think of the Timberwolves. Now to the Heat, I think the Heat played very well as well. Thanks to not just Jimmy Butler or Jimmy Bucket as they call him, as they were calling him during the game. I can't even remember his name. I think his name is Max Truss, if I'm not mistaken. He also scored 31 points for the Heat. To be honest, I did not know who Max Truss was before the game, and I just started watching the game, and it's like he had already made. I started watching the game, and he already made 4 or 5 3-pointers. So I was like, okay, cool. Who's this guy? So yeah, for the Bulls, I think they just have to go and yeah, go back to the drawing board. Really, they have the talent as well, which is the thing. They are talented players across the NBA. They are talented people across every field. But yeah, I think what separates the top 1% or the top players from those who are not top players, it's not really in talent. It's just there are other factors to it, other variables to it. So I think the Bulls have to go back to the drawing board. They have DeMar DeRozan, who's very good from the mid-range, right? They have Zach Levine, they have Alex Caruso, and all of these guys who, in my opinion, are quite talented, right? They have Pat Bev, and yeah, so they have the pieces, and I think they can do better next season. I think they can do better next season. So for the Heat, again, I don't think they will be able to upset the Bucks. The Bucks are quite good. They have depth. They have the person some would say is the best. They have the person some would say is the best player in the NBA in Giannis Antetokounmpo. So yeah, I don't think they're going to upset the Bucks. Stretch them, I do not think so at all as well. Stretch them, I do not think so as well. So, but yeah, looking forward to the playoff. I'm not sure how many of the games I'll be able to watch. I really do think I would love to see the Golden State Kings game. But then I would see how many of the games I would be able to watch and cover through the first and the second round, especially because I think we'll be playing a lot of games, sometimes concurrently or simultaneously. So I would see how many I'll be able to go through or watch and make videos about. But yeah, I look forward to the playoffs. I would love to know what your predictions are. I'll be sending out pools. So I would love to know what your predictions are. Personally, yeah, I'm not going to assume. And I'm not going to make predictions. I'm just going to watch it as it is. And whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. They should lose. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we would say, respect the Bucks and the Celtics to make the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, anything could happen. They were the two best teams this season. They may make it, they may not. I think the West is quite wide open, right? For the Eastern Conference, I think everybody's like the Bucks, the Celtics, the 76ers, every other person is behind them. But for the West, even the number one seed is not very much trusted. Not even the Grizzlies or the Kings, who were the third seed, right? So like it's almost as though the Kings are even coming into the series as the underdogs. But we'll see. I'm just going to watch it for what it is. I'm going to have fun watching it. And the teams I'm rooting for, number one, the Warriors. I think there's no one I'm rooting against, to be honest. I love the Kings. I think, yeah, the fact that they have a former Warriors player, they have a former Warriors coach, they have De'Aaron Fox, who I think I really like, and Domas. Yeah, I'm rooting for them as well. I'm rooting for the Lakers. I'm rooting for everyone. So I'm just going to watch the games and yeah, be entertained, really. That's what it's about, right? Watch the games and be entertained. And yeah, let's, fingers crossed. I wish everybody's team good games. I wish everyone plays well, and may the best man win. All right, have a great weekend. Bye bye. Hey, so if you enjoyed watching this, you can check out these other cool videos as well, and I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up, to subscribe, to leave a comment down below so I'll know what your thoughts are and what kind of videos you'd love to see on this channel.